Dun, 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 dun. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for joining in live or later. This gentleman, I went and talked to him this morning because I was concerned at who was swatting me, right? So I said, well, because I was like, oh man, I'm upset about this. So I better go and choose my words kindly. So I was upset. So I went to inquire as to who was harassing me, as I felt harassed. And this man told me, and he is an expert at public complaints, professional standards division, Regina. And so this gentleman is a gentleman. And so here we go, guys. Listen up. Listen up. Oh, hold on. Hold on one second. Let's make it right direct, right? So listen up. Listen up, guys. Listen up to this. This gentleman knows what he's talking about. And the other thing is that he's a real cop, right? He's a real cop, okay? He's not an RCMP. He's a real cop, Regina cop, right? So here we go, guys. This is what we're going to listen to. This happened this morning. Here we go. This is for Carla Beck, and this is for all the NDPs and Saskatchewan Justice people, everybody. Right? Here we go.
Person, I met you before. God bless you, man. Wow. Isn't that great? Staff Sergeant.
Yeah, it happened. Took a while, but it happened.
Well, I know, but you know what I mean? It's like, wow, eh? You've got such a great responsibility. Yeah, I mean, your family must be proud. Everybody must be proud of what you do. I am.
Yeah, I think so.
I am.
Yeah?
And it's because of the way you deport yourself.
Well, you've always been, you know what? I don't know if you remember it. I've dealt with you. I've run across you a few times over the years. And, yeah, you've always been good to deal with.
And see, that's the thing, right? Yeah. And,
So what can I help you well with today?
Well, so on February 1st or 2nd it was.
Okay.
I had, I think it was 693 or 694 and 1001. They came to my door at 8:45 in the morning.
Sorry, who came to your door, Dale?
I think it was 694 or 693.
Of Regina Police?
Yeah, the badge numbers. I think I'm pretty sure, have it recorded.
Okay.
And 1001. And so they said that, I don't know, it was something about committing suicide. Well, so that's not true. What I said was, I'm trapped by the RCMP. Okay. I feel like I'm in purgatory. They're controlling my life from the remote, right? Because I knew they were still cyber stalking me.
The RCMP are?
Yeah, and so this is
why in the world are they doing that?
Because I complained about Keith Kosior, right? So 15 years, and this is how the whole cop watch thing started, right? And so I said, he's cyber stalking me, he's harassing me.
Okay.
And, it escalated into whole kinds of, they violated their own complaints commission regulations, everything.
The RCMP did?
Yeah.
So just to make sure I've got everything straight, your issue is with the RCMP. It's not with RPS or?
No, I don't believe so. But that's the reason I'm here is because I live here in Regina.
Yeah.
And I feel that my police service in Regina is supposed to be the ones that protect me, right?
Yeah.
And
we're here to protect everybody. And so the cops that came to check on you on February 1st, just because, and you know what, to be honest with you, this is something that's standard that we do with everybody. If we get somebody calls us and says, we're worried about Bob Smith, we think he might do something to harm himself, we have an obligation to go out and check on that person because we don't want to see anything bad happening to Bob Smith or anybody else to make sure that they're okay. So
yeah, so we understand the exact same things. We're on 100% on the same page.
Okay.
And so that being said, there was no validity, no truth. Did anybody present any evidence on February 2nd of this allegation or something for somebody? So it's harassment, basically, because I could phone and say, Darren McPherson is going to commit suicide. And if they say, well, that's our watch commander, we got to go and save him.
Absolutely.
Right? But if they do that 3 times, every time that I say I'm going to Fillmore and I'm going to go there and stay there, in February, I said I'm going to go there, work on my motorcycle so I can get ready for March and April and start living my life, right?
So Fillmore's home for you, or?
Well, that's where I have my garage and all my stuff.
Okay.
And
Nice town.
well, every town in Saskatchewan's a
Yeah.
beautiful town.
Yeah.
It's people and individuals, and as you know,
Yeah. Well, I'm a small town guy.
everywhere, right? It's
So-
individuals that take away.
Yeah, you're gonna
the
get
quality
you're
of
gonna get
people's
bad eggs
lives.
everywhere. Be careful.
Yeah.
But-
So that happened. I feel that was cyber stalking harassment. So on Easter Sunday, same thing happens again. I get I think it was 993, 1000, and 1001 badge numbers. They come to my place and do the same thing. And as soon as they open the door, I mean, and this has happened over the years with the RCMP, constantly over the last 5 years, right? It's been happening all the time. They create mayhem between me and the Regina City Police. They're trying to create some kind of mayhem, some kind of,
the RCMPR.
yeah, they're trying to create a negative reaction. So when Regina City Police come, just like, and you say, well, you have a responsibility.
Yeah.
And so what they expect me to do is go off on you guys. They expect me to go off on you guys and then have some kind of altercation and be charged. When I walked down the street, I saw a traffic accident this morning, right? And people are, and Keith Kosior and Brian Nielmeyer, RCMP, Brian Nielmeyer and Keith Kosior, or one of their officers thereof in these jurisdictions, Weyburn, Fillmore, it's at Carlisle, because Keith Kosior works out of Carlisle now.
Oh, does he? Okay.
So one of them, or some of them, or one of their family members, friends, are watching my channel and they report everything I say to them. These guys trigger, they phone here, and of course, hey, if it was a citizen calling and saying Dale Lakeman's, you'd probably go like, well, I don't know, man. We gotta be tenuous. It's gotta be like, we gotta really walk on eggshells here. But if the RCMP phone and say that,
No.
then you're like, well, this is an RCMP officer. He's got a little more credibility, And so that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to create mayhem between me and you.
And you know what, Dale? I'll be totally honest with you about something. If anybody calls, and we get these calls a lot, if anybody calls and says they're concerned for the well-being of somebody, it doesn't matter if they're just some guy off the street or somebody that's, Prime Minister of Canada, we're going to follow up on it because we just need to make sure that the person is okay.
Like we said, to ensure people's safety and the person's
absolutely,
individual.
we don't want to see anybody
citizen.
getting hurt or anything.
Exactly. Yeah, and so that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And so if they create this tension, like where I'm worried that, okay, if I say something wrong, like I say something that is wrong to them, that they don't like, well, then you guys are going to come and do this. And so I feel like it's like, okay, I'm supposed to be worried about every knock on my door. I'm supposed to be worried about every, I can't walk on eggshells my whole life.
No, there's no
So
reason.
if I go to Fillmore and they decide that I said something wrong, it'll be the same way as happened on March 21st, 2021.
Okay, so what happened on March 21st?
Because
You know what? To be honest with you, I don't know the history of what.
so allegedly somebody from Montana, this is from the RCMP, allegedly somebody from Montana called the RCMP and said, Dale Lakeman's threatening to commit suicide. Well, the RCMP came and they came with like 12 cops, Weyburn cops, dogs, and everything. See? I see the way you look. You're like, wow, raising.
That's
like,
quite a bit.
For commit suicide.
I didn't think there'd be 12 RCMP.
Yeah, and they came with a 6-foot battering ram.
Really?
And the cop runs up to my door and starts smashing my door in. And about 3.5 minutes in, they said, it's RCMP, open the door. But it was 3.5 minutes after they started smashing. They didn't come up and say, we're here to help you. They created.
You have your own place out in Fillmore.
Yeah, so they create
and garage out there.
Yeah, no, just a garage.
Oh, just garage. Okay.
Well, I lived there for years, right?
Okay.
So that's so they created like panic in me, right? I could have killed myself, and people that if you go to a place where the guy's mentally unstable or create, he's saying I'm going to kill myself if the cops come, and then the cops come and kills himself. Well, there's kind of something wrong. But to go there and start smashing my door and then later say RCMP, but to come up and say, if they would have came up and slammed on the door and said RCMP, open the door, they didn't. And so then they took me to Weyburn. They coerced, and the ombudsman held this up. The ombudsman said that I was held against my will in Weyburn at Tatagua Center For 10 days, I was held against my will.
Mhm.
And the RCMP were responsible. It's what the Ombudsman's office said, the Saskatchewan Ombudsman.
Okay.
Okay, they analyzed it. I just told them the circumstances. They said I was held against my will. I was treated against my will.
Okay.
I talked to the Tatagua Center. Tatagua Center said that the RCMP told the doctor what to do, and it was the RCMP that were directing things. They held me against my will for 10 days. I went to a lawyer. The guy said $35,000, and we need cash up front, and we can sue the health department. And you're going to win.
Mhm.
Blah blah blah. Well, I don't have that kind of money, right? And so now I'm supposed to go, and now if I go to Fillmore and they do the same thing that they did to you, they phone here and say that. But if I'm sitting in see how nervous I am?
Mm.
If I'm sitting,
No need to be
but you
nervous.
see,
You're in-
yeah, I know I am, and that's why
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah,
It's
you're
'cause
in the safest place in Regina right
Exactly, because I know I am.
Yeah.
Right? But if it was an RCMP, I wouldn't be able to talk
now. Is that right?
because of what they did. They held me against my will for 10 days. Okay, so whatever. You can punch me in the face and I walk down the street later. But you know what I mean? I can let water go under the bridge.
Yeah.
But obviously, by February 2nd, when I said, I'm going to Fillmore, I'm going to be in my garage working on my motorcycle, they're threatened and I'm there. They called you guys and said he's coming to. So they're trying to create another false mental scenario,
Mhm.
a false mental health scenario. And then on April 7th, I said, well, I'm going to Fillmore on Monday.
Okay.
And so it's Tuesday now
Now, who you told that you were going to Fillmore?
on the internet, right?
Oh, sorry, you told the RCMP that you were going to
No,
Fillmore?
I'm just on the internet on YouTube saying, well, I'm going to Fillmore. I'm going to go and work on my bike.
Oh,
you know.
okay, so you put
Yeah.
okay, and see, I didn't know that.
YouTube
You put-
videos, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You put YouTube videos on a kind of,
10,000 videos.
really, of kind of,
I've got 16,000 videos.
what is it that people call it?
YouTube.
Yeah, but.
Streaming.
Yeah, streaming.
Live stream.
And, oh, God, why are you?
TikTok.
You know, like people kind of put almost like a diary, they kind of post.
Yes,
that kind of
and
thing.
so that's what I do is day to day, and that's what people
Oh, I
are
didn't know
doing.
that you do stuff
They
like that.
follow my whole life,
Oh, really?
minute by minute. I put
Is
like
that right? I had
20
no idea.
videos a day up sometimes, man.
Really?
Yeah, because this, and so they created an impasse between me and the healthcare system.
You must have an exciting life. People would go to sleep
Whoa.
watching videos about my life.
I wish I could go to sleep,
Well,
you know, because it's like, and
well,
since
if
February
I start-
2nd.
Dale, if I start putting videos of my life on there, I'm sure you'll go to sleep. 'Cause my life's pretty boring, so.
And see, that's what I watch. I watch people that are camping.
Yeah,
I watch just people that are garage sailing.
yeah,
I don't watch cop watching because it's
Yeah.
stressing, right?
yeah,
But that's what I do.
yeah.
And people like to
Oh, I didn't
see
know
the
that.
interactions.
So you think the RCMP are watching these?
Oh, they absolutely are. They
Oh,
said
really?
they are.
Oh, really?
They said they are. And
So-
people have said that they're sending my videos to the RCMP. But the RCMP phone, that's the key, is they phone. You know, it's the RCMP that phone. If it's Joe Schmo from
Yeah, on the February 1st, it was the RCMP that
Yeah.
phoned, or yes, the first? Yes, February 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so who phoned on the 7th?
SGI.
SGI. Oh, yeah, because SGI said, what am I supposed to do? Drive criminally? And then I'm going to get in a high-speed chase and maybe die
Yeah.
or
And
be
so-
killed?
So on both those days, both SGI and the RCMP they just wanted us to check, they had concerns for your well-being. And
Yeah, so SGI phone. Well, see how stupid that is? But see now, so the excessive surcharges create people to drive illegally.
Well, it's expensive to plate a vehicle now.
No, but if you get a ticket, you get $1,000 surcharge. I got a ticket for $185. I got
It'd be $1,000 surcharge.
Yeah, but they brought back 3 years of surcharges.
Oh.
So 3,185. So $3,185 it cost me to get my license back.
Yeah.
Now I still owe $2,300 and they won't give me my license. So I have to walk to Fillmore. You know, I have to ride my
Well, I hope you've
bicycle.
got somebody that you can catch a lift with.
No. Well, because I mean, people in Fillmore don't like me. I'm going to walk down the highway and take a chance of somebody not liking me. Like somebody tried to run me over on 33 highway. I got
That's a busy stretch of road.
Yeah,
now, so-
but the traffic, the rest of the people that stopped said that guy tried to deliberately run you over.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
Oh, that was like 6-7 years ago.
Oh, geez.
See, I've been fighting with Keith Kosior for 15 years.
Okay, now I don't know Keith Kosior and I don't know
No,
Brian
neither.
Nielmeyer. I wouldn't know him if I was standing next to him. So what's the issue between you and these guys?
Well, I complained about Keith because he harassed me like he was predatory policing for
Oh,
15 years.
Okay,
I moved
So
to a
was
small town.
So was he out at the
He grew up in
Fillmore?
Fillmore.
Fillmore's guy's detachment there.
Yeah, he grew up in Fillmore.
Oh, does he?
He was the leader of the Fillmore, the boss in the Fillmore barracks. But they retired him. They pushed him off now because I complained about him so much, and people complained about him in Fillmore. But he grew up in Fillmore, went there for 16 weeks, right, to the RCMP as a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Came back inadequate training, right? And he came back with all these biases, like I'm the small town boy that all the strangers are bad, right? And so when I moved there, and the only reason I moved there is because my dad, my dad grew up around there.
Okay.
And then what the hell? I thought, well, I'm just going to move there to a small town garage and have a little shop and work in my shop. I have not been able to establish myself. I think in the first 3 or 4 years, that it was, the neighbors, right? It was like, you're a small town boy, or like a big city boy coming to a small town. Everybody's looking at you. What are you doing? How you doing, neighbor? Blah, blah, blah. BS, right? Because they're just checking you out.
Yeah.
But then after that, Kosior became the barracks commander. And then that was it. He was stalking me all the time, man. I made videos of him from the start because I was like, why is this guy always at my place? Why is he always there? And then he started with his personal vehicle, come in at night with his personal vehicle. He pulled into my yards and flashed his lights on and off.
Okay.
And drive by and he had a spotlight like.
How do you know it was his vehicle?
Because after I complained about him, I started looking at my videos and there it is. He is in this white truck that's his own personal truck.
Okay.
So I started to correlate it because, I'm walking down the street in Regina, a cop drives by me. He's not watching me.
No.
He's just going to wherever he's going to.
Yeah.
I see the cop parked on the side of the road. You walk by them. They're not watching you. But if you're in RCMP territory, they have like 500 kilometers of a zone. They have a
it's a big area. It's a big area.
So if you see them 6 times a day or 5 times a day, that means they're not going anywhere except for right around your house, right?
And you know what? Because I'm not an RCP, I'm not going to say how they do.
And he would come and stop in front of my house. He was stalking me, right?
Okay.
And so the mental attitude, lack of training, psychological reviews. That if you just slough over somebody's review, that person could be a danger in the uniform.
So when's the last time you would have had any contact with him or seen him or had anything to do with him? Is it?
Well, last September.
Last September?
Yeah, when they charged me with harassing them, which I mean, if
you charged you with harassing them.
Yeah, and of course Regina City Police, because they put an undertaking not to film the police and record the police, right? Okay. Which was like violation of my rights. For what reason did they?
You're recording me right now, right?
Absolutely, because you're recording. I hope you are. We're recording.
No, we don't have any bugs in this room.
Well, see, we all think that there's just all 100%, everything's above board. But when we meet people, we know sometimes it doesn't happen, right?
So
you know what I mean? Because I trusted him all that time. But then I grew suspicious. I'm like, why do I see him constantly? And so in 2016 was the first time I put in a complaint. And then it got worse, right? Yeah. And then in 2019, I put in a complaint, and they totally screwed it up, man. Nielmeyer comes and he says, I'm investigating your complaint against this officer. And I said, well, it's Kosior, right? And he says, because I put in a complaint against the wrong officer on purpose, basically, because I knew it was Kosior, but I said, well, this is Preston.
Excuse me.
And so when he investigated the complaint, he comes and he says, oh, no, that was Preston. And I have a video, and it's Kosior, right? And it's obvious. And even the RCMP, the sergeant that was overseeing the kind of complaint or like involved in it after I complained again and again. I put 46 complaints in against him.
Oh, really? Okay.
Against the RCMP.
So, okay, now I guess we're kind of getting into where my next question is going to be. Who is Brian Nielmeyer and what's your...
Nielmeyer's the commander. And so Nielmeyer comes to...
Commander of what?
Of that district, Weyburn district.
Oh,
right?
Is he? Okay.
Right? That's what he told me. He told me he's the boss and he knows everything and that he knows who the officer was. And I said it was Kosior. And he says, no, it's Preston. And so, but the video, I said, did you see the video? He says, yeah, I saw the video. And I'm like, okay. So I let it go, right? Mm-hmm. Because I knew he was lying. So he deliberately misled the Complaints Commission, because the first thing you do when you're investigating anything is establish the facts, right?
That's usually.
So if I said,
that's the best way to go.
Yeah, so if I said Darren McPherson was there and he beat me up, you'd say, well, I gotta check out Darren McPherson. And Darren would say, you would say, no, I wasn't there. And then they go, well, who was there then?
Or I
Well,
might
what's the
come
time?
clean, or I might come clean and say that I was there.
Yeah, but you check your things and you say, well, that was Joe, it wasn't Darren.
Yeah.
And then, because you're investigating something, you start with the facts.
Yeah.
And so then you go to the person that's complaining and you say, no, it wasn't Darren, it was Joe.
Yeah.
Right? That's the first thing a reasonable person would expect, is to correct the mistakes that the person complaining is.
Absolutely.
I can't walk down the street and make a complaint against Justin Trudeau, and Justin Trudeau lives in Ottawa. Oh, well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
First thing, as an officer, you establish the fact of the complaint
Absolutely.
to see if there's a basis for the complaint.
Absolutely.
But he came with a paper, and they coerced me. They had people phoning me. They had a sergeant come, and he was badgering me. And he said, look, we just want to talk to you about this complaint. All you have to do is sign some papers, and it's over. It's over. So I knew he was lying. I knew, because ineptitude is not really, you're not inept. I can tell you're not inept.
Well, I hope not.
Right? You don't stop a car and say it's like a jet that you're stopping.
No.
So you establish the facts first. We're clear on this.
Yeah.
So he misled the Complaints Commission, right?
Okay.
And they waylaid it, basically, right?
Okay.
But it's the blue shield. It's the force of blue.
Yeah.
You have to, the associations there of people, like if I had friends, I'm sure I'd support my friends, but if they're lying, I'm just going to say, man, you're lying. It's over. But they lied.
You don't.
And so they mishandled
it. You lie, you just end up getting yourself into trouble.
Yeah, and so they established that they made my complaints invalid.
Okay.
And so what do I do?
Well,
Like,
what can I help you out with today, Mr. Lakeman?
Well, I need to complain against the RCMP.
Okay.
I need to. Actually, right there was the most legitimate thing, right? That's really what he did for me, and he does for you that same thing, right? Because what he just said, right? And he's a professional standards. He was on the professional standards, and he's a staff sergeant with Regina City Police. And you'll notice he says the first thing you do is you establish the facts, right? See, it's on Easter Sunday. It was SGI, but that could have been the RCMP. It could have been somebody else.
Yeah, no,
But
it wasn't.
the February 1st.
And it's
So what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to go out there and be worried about these guys? Because there's no accountability.
No.
Like at least in Regina here, we can do this, right?
absolutely.
Because there's other people in the building. But in Fillmore, if we're in the barracks in Fillmore, it's just me and you.
Have you?
There's nobody else there.
Have you gone to? You know where F Division is out on Duty
Yeah.
Avenue,
Oh, yeah.
Avenue West. Have you gone and talked to the?
I
know they have their own internal investigators. It's like a.
Mm-hmm.
Here we call it professional standards, and I used to do professional standards investigations when I was here.
Great.
So
See, you know what I mean then.
Absolutely.
First thing you establish is the fact.
Absolutely.
Was the officer even there?
You have to do that. But here's the thing. I know they have their own investigative unit out there that does the same thing. And they're out of F Division.
Yeah.
Now, you can go out there and make contact with them and speak to them.
Yeah.
They're the same thing as basically we do here, investigate any complaints involving the police. Now, because now here's where we get into the sticky end of things, okay? We fall, both Regina Police, Moose Jaw, any municipal agencies, we fall under the province. We're under provincial legislation. The RCMP, they fall under federal legislation. So a complaint, and it's kind of unfortunate it has to be done this way because there's a few avenues. Like, say you want to make a complaint against the Regina Police. There's a few different ways that you can do it. One, we have what's called the Provincial Complaints Commission, which is it's investigators who are there. Mm-hmm. They're civilians. They're there to investigate any complaints regarding the police. So a complaint can be made to them. You can actually go on their website and make it. Mm-hmm. I assume that with the RCMP, you can do something similar to that. They would have on their website in a way to make a complaint also in that way. A person can come to the Regina Police Service or any other municipal agency, you has to speak with the watch commander, make a complaint that way, or go to FSIN. So complaints can be made that way. I don't have the ability to take a complaint.
Yep.
It has to go through the RCMP or through their website.
Mm-hmm.
And there is I'm sure I can hop on here and
so,
find it in 2 seconds how to do it. But
yeah.
have you gone out to F Division and talked to?
No, what I'm going to next right now.
Yeah,
like
I would suggest
either today or tomorrow.
And here's the thing, and I understand where kind of the idea comes of the Blue Shield and that kind of thing, but
yeah.
I'll tell you, having done these kind of investigations for a while, you need to do when you're investigating them, you have to look at them objectively. This is my perspective. You have to look at them objectively. You have to look at them logically. You have to look at them with a clear and open mind, because you know what? In our line of work, and it doesn't matter if you're a police with the city or RCMP, mistakes are made.
Yeah,
and
if you're an ice cream vendor, same thing.
Absolutely.
It's people.
We all
It's
make
people.
mistakes.
It's the
Everybody
people.
makes mistakes.
And the degree of culpability and responsibility and integrity that the person has.
Yeah.
If a person comes as a compromise or becomes a compromise, it's time for that person to be moved on. And that's why they transferred Kosior to traffic division in Carlisle.
And you know what? And I don't know all the details of this, so I'm not going to. I can't comment on what the deal is with. I don't even know his rank with Mr. Kosior or Mr. Nielmeyer. So because I don't know either of these guys, and I don't know the.
And see, you know what? The greatest thing is that I can tell, like you're doing your best to help me
I want to help
through
you.
this situation.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
man.
And the thing
I
is,
think you are.
You, as well as anybody else out there, if you feel that there's wrongdoing on the part of the police, you have the right to bring that forward. And you have every right in the world to bring that forward, and you should, because
that's exactly what I want you to say.
Because that's the only way we get better.
Yeah, because when you say should, that means you have integrity, that you're thinking of that, of the should, and not the
they shouldn't
nots.
they shouldn't sit on their hands, and they shouldn't have it affect them in a negative way. It should be brought forward.
Yeah, because it would not happen if we did what we needed to do on a daily basis.
And it sounds like you want to make things better here and want to.
Well, I want to have a better relationship with them.
No.
Like, I want to have a better relationship with people in Fillmore.
Absolutely.
I want to have a better relationship with Keith Kosior.
Absolutely.
Because I believe in that. The next day is a new day.
Life's too short to have that.
Yeah, because I'm 60 now. And they've been doing this for 5 years since I complained about it. And it was misleading the Complaints Commission, the very initial. Just like you said, first thing to do, as you know, you have experience with investigating, establish the facts.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man. You're great. Thank you for your help.
Whoa, hold on. Isn't that fantastically great? The guy said exactly what he understands. He said exactly what he understands to be true, right? First thing you have to do is even establish, was the officer even actually there? Was that officer actually there? And so if they're that inept that they can't figure out that when they read the logbooks, when they read the duty rosters, because they have access to all that when they're investigating to see if there is anything in the complaint at all. First thing you do is establish, well, what was the officer's name? What time was it? And it was all provided by me. And the video. And then, so when you see a video and you know the officer personally, you're going to have to say, well, that was Keith Kosior, Dale. That's what you'd have to say first, right? And you didn't. That means Sergeant Brian Nielmeyer, the RCMP, violated the laws, and that's where it started right there. And then they continued to put mental pressure on financial stress and harassment day after day for 5 years. And Saskatchewan Justice, because there is no accountability for police officers, RCMP in particular, in the strongest sense, RCMP, there's no accountability for them in Saskatchewan at all. There is no public complaints. Way to complain to the RCMP about the RCMP in Saskatchewan.
there's no accountability in the least bit. And so then when you see these other people in other provinces that are frustrated with the RCMP, and the Public Complaints Commission in particular, people are really frustrated with them. It's because of our legislators, right? It's our legislatures in our provinces that do this. And these people, our legislators, are supposed to represent our people. Whatever, and it's not a statistical analysis, it's not racial, it's just people. And when the RCMP have no accountability to anyone, no matter what race they are, really, that's a problem. I don't know what to do when you have to defend your rights as a Canadian citizen after believing and having trust in people for all these years. And now, I mean, I can only inform young people. Do not trust these people because the system is not fair, and in fact does not even exist. The Complaints Commission does not even exist in Saskatchewan, right? But this guy said, first things first, establish the facts. I think Regina, and because of the public spotlight in city of Regina and in cities, the media access and social media access is the key. And that's why they tried to limit my social media access, right? Is because they were trying to restrict my social media access so that, and they trivialized what they did to me. They trivialized it, which really, to other people, other than a forgiving person like myself and an understanding and a hopeful person like myself, this would be, tantamount to I'm serious. They've threatened my life, right? There's no question about that. And there's no way for me to defend myself with my atrophy and my stenosis. And that's what they created. And I have a double hernia as well. But hey, those are my medical problems. Keith Kosior, he's got, and Brian Nielmeyer, they've got integrity problems. And just like Tony Guerin said, I don't doubt your integrity, Mr. Lakeman. You can never, ever question my integrity because I'm telling you,